In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McGeough.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 65 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Meridian in Idaho talking with Brian McGeough. Brian is a CPA, MBA, and certified NFL agent / business manager. He works closely with business owners and professional athletes on their finances, helping them forecast, budget, implement tax strategies, become more profitable, and build a financial roadmap for success. His expertise is guiding entrepreneurs and companies to the next level by implementing solid financial and operational frameworks that are positioned for long-term success and profitability. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy.
So welcome, Brian, to the Swell Pod and the Kiln Road Trip. Thanks for being one of the 100.
Excellent to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. If you could introduce your full name and what you do and why you're passionate about it, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. My name is Brian McGeough. I'm the founder of NextGen Accounting and Finance, and we're a fractional accounting and CFO company. We work with small, medium-sized businesses to get that interim data that they don't typically get from their CPA. So we started this business really to fix a broken model in that a lot of business owners wait till the end of the year to bring their books and records to their CPA. Then they crunch the numbers, but then they've lost this whole year's worth of data and analysis, cash flow, metrics, margins, KPI analysis, and the availability to take advantage of tax strategies. So rather than waiting till the end of the year, we put forward all this data in front of business owners to give them the levers and the KPIs to look at to actually be able to make critical decisions for their business.
Yeah, interesting. There's so many things out there that are classified as an annual thing, when actually it'd be much better to do it in real time.
Real time.
And this is one of them, right?
Absolutely.
We've heard this. We had one conversation about this, in fact, right at the beginning.
Yeah, one of the other locations.
Yeah. So what's your background and how did you discover this, or what led to this very specific thing you were going to tackle and address?
Yeah, great question. I've worked all over the accounting business, finance, tax, consulting work for about 2 decades or so, just kind of all over, mixed in different areas. And it didn't matter what area I was in. I noticed that businesses kept going out of business because they had a poor availability to actually manage their cash. And interestingly enough, I didn't mention this before, but I'm also an NFL agent and a business manager for NFL athletes. So we do a lot of the same that we do for business owners, but for professional athletes. And the correlating stats are actually really interesting. If you look at of the businesses that fail within the first 3 years, 80% of them fail due to poor cash flow management.
Yeah.
And then if you read and go into the stats of athletes and what that looks like, well, within 2 to 3 years after exiting pro sports, about 80% of them are filing for bankruptcy or going broke. So clearly it came down to really looking at the market and why these gaps were in place. And like I mentioned earlier, it's because there's not those interim stats and metrics and data that you're looking at throughout the year. And same with professional athletes. They really don't have a lot of the guidance and someone on their side to put that data in front of them to help them put together a game plan and get them on a budget and say, hey, you can't spend $75,000 a month consistently for 2 years in a row, right? We have to stay on a budget and get some things in place.
How did you find yourself as both in the specific professional football players and as an agent? And because I mean, you hear the stories all the time of what you've just explained, and I'm interested in how you found yourself in this position.
Yeah, it's a great question. Actually started at a coffee shop one morning. I was having breakfast with a longtime family friend of mine. He's been a sports agent for about 35 years. He had retired from the business, and one of his actually former clients, quarterback in the NFL, had approached him and said, hey, we're going to build this sports management company. Do you want to come out of retirement and jump back on board? And he said, hell yeah, let's do it. So when we were sitting at breakfast, he was talking to me about why the athletes they go broke. And I just said, well, why don't we treat them like a business? Why don't we put them through QuickBooks and give them a budget and have them have a legal team and a marketing team and set up their LLCs and actually have them operate within some sort of structure. But the problem before is they might have had a financial advisor and maybe they had an attorney and they might have had someone doing their taxes, but nobody's communicating. When you have all these different pieces floating around, nothing works together. So we're kind of that central shop, one-stop shop for them to put everything together and facilitate the conversations with everyone else that's included in their life.
A big important part was trust again there. Having all that information in a central place for them to trust you rather than other people kind of going off and, whatever, doing something for you. But this allows you to do that. What is your product then? Is it platform? Is it software? What do you provide?
Service.
Service
we definitely have a lot of tools and softwares that we use to kind of facilitate the management and tasks and projects and what's coming in, what's going out. But it's service, and especially in that business, and it's no different with business owners. It's really relational, and I think it's tapping into those major pain points. But then, not just identifying, you have to execute and put action in place once you identify those. So for us, it's all about making their life easier, removing the pain points, and that's for both the business owners and the athletes.
So you're not specifically niched only in professional sports. Let's say you're also niched in small business as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, I have two companies: Next Gen Accounting and Finance, and then I'm a partner in another sports management company, Endurance Sports Management.
Cool.
But yeah, they kind of blend together. I feel like a lot of the structures and systems we put in place for one business, they blended over into the other because they all deal with the management of money and people and how to put the systems in place to properly track it.
Interesting.
So what causes these businesses within the first 3 years to go out of business, poor cash flow management? Like, I guess, what are some of the bigger reasons or challenges that businesses face that maybe you're going in and you're kind of helping address to help them not be one of those fatalities within the first 3 years, I guess? Well,
I think that's a great question. I think there's a lot of different factors that go into it, but I think that one of the perceptions of business owners, unfortunately, is a mistake that accounting and finance and taxes is a cost to your business. And yes, it is. At the end of the day, it's an expense, but really it's an investment, and you're investing in data, and that data helps you make the critical decisions like I talked about earlier. So I feel like most business owners put that on the back burner, and it's not until 2 or 3 years where they're like, oh crap, we're out of cash, we're struggling, how do we do this? And then they come to put those things in place. So if you can at least have some sort of idea, put the processes, put the procedures in place to manage your cash, build a budget. I think building a budget is just so critical for an individual, for a business owner, for professional athletes. That's like one of the main things I do with them is say, hey guys, here's the budget. Let's stick to this. Here's the different outposts. But if you don't have a budget, then you don't know the you don't know the parameters that you can operate within. So it's very difficult to proceed without a game plan.
And where are you at with I guess, the fractional side of things, that side of that business, in terms of your growth? Are like how many clients do you have? Like, where are you at in terms of how long have you been around, and help us understand kind of where you're at right now in comparison to like how you've grown? Definitely.
Yeah. We're about 3 years old on the fractional accounting and CFO side. We service about 50 or 60 tax clients a year at this point, business and individual. And then we service about 15 clients on a monthly basis, just running everything from bookkeeping, CFO advisory, KPIs, metrics. We have monthly, quarterly review meetings. So about 15 on that side, but we've continued to grow and keep on growing. I feel like every time we bring on a new client, we're identifying new pain points that are similar within every business. I feel like every business has certain pain points, but they're also individual related on industry and certain businesses and who you're working with. So just identifying those and trying to be at the forefront of creating new systems and procedures, and that's been really helpful for us.
Interesting. And so what are your pain points, I guess,
as a
really
company?
Specifically as a company, like what are your challenges as you grow?
I mean, I think kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's switching the narrative to business owners that this is not a cost, it's an investment. And once you see the data, once you look at the numbers, you can make critical decisions. For example, a lot of business owners, they'll go invest in marketing. But if you don't have the return data to look at that marketing or the metrics or the return on ad spend or really dig into the data, then I don't want to say it's useless, but you're spending dollars that aren't efficient because you don't know where they're going or how to spend them. And that's just one example. That can be across the board virtually for anything in business.
Is that what's keeping you up at night?
Definitely. Yeah. I think I'm always thinking about new ways that we can make our clients' life easier and get rid of those pain points and really be, I think what we focus on at NextGen is trying to be that touch point. So they're not like, oh, because I feel like most business owners, one of their biggest complaint is, I talk to my CPA once a year, or
yeah, you're right.
They never call me. They don't talk to me about anything. So we're always that constant touch point of having monthly review meetings, quarterly review meetings, looking at the metrics, but not just identifying the pain points. Like I said earlier, having an actionable list of items that we can actually put into place.
Do you have any like little story, a memory a favorite memory working with the NFL, as you've tried to help them gain this new mindsets, new skills? I don't know. Is there a story that comes to mind without mentioning who?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. So probably some I should keep off the record for sure, but that's probably a majority of them.
You're like questionable purchases. Like, did you really need this?
Well, when we leave, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say, success stories. I think that one of the coolest things is like actually taking a guy from start, once they've been drafted as a rookie, and then just seeing really where they've developed in the last 3-4 years. But really, to me, it's about the education. So, you can teach someone how to do something, or you can tell them, but when they start to be able to speak the lingo and repeat what you've taught them and kind of learn the moves, to me, that's the coolest part. And that's the success story, to see guys meeting with financial advisors when we're in the room and they're talking about interest rates and treasury bonds. And it's like, man, that's exactly what we're hoping to do, is break this mold and model and narrative of that athletes and business owners are going broke. But I think a lot of it comes down to literacy and education and just helping people make right decisions.
Where's a good place to go? So of course people can go to you, but where's it also a good place to go to learn more, kind of get into that mindset shift a little bit more for those who may not be as familiar with this side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think online, there's so many resources available for like personal finance tools, even if it's not business owners, individuals looking to build a better budget or keep a cash flow plan, understanding their taxes a little more. I think online is just such a great resource of tools to go and look for things and take courses. Like QuickBooks has great budgeting courses. I mean, even an athlete could sit there and take that and go, hey, here's how I would put together a very simple budget.
Okay. Yeah. And it's interesting. So you work out of Kiln, right?
Yep.
How has Kiln been for you? I mean, we just had a conversation that, you just recently got a haircut at Kiln, which I think is cool. And again, it looks great, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But help me understand. So what's it like working at Kiln?
Yeah, Kiln's been a great space. It's funny, actually, when we first started looking at office spaces, we toured a few different spots, and we toured this one place I specifically remember right before we came here, and it was just dark and dismal, and there was no lights, and it just felt like a stuffy corporate office that I'd been kind of used to in the past working in the corporate world. And then we came here and it was just light and fun and engaging. The staff was super attentive and everyone's super resourceful. It's just a great place to be. I like being around the energy, the atmosphere, the people. I think when you're around people that are working in a similar capacity, high energy, high paced, working on a mission. It's a feel. I mean, it's just a great place to be. And the amenities are top notch. They have food. They have, like you said, I get my hair cut here. They have yoga classes. They got chiropractors that come in.
Cool.
Nonstop.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the Kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Camper Vans, a luxury camper van rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra camper vans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables.
And enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, our last question is relating to advice from, we have a theme, which is what does it take to create something that didn't exist before? People are trying to do that. A lot of people that we're interviewing have been doing that for many years, or maybe they're at the start of that journey. What advice would you have for those people that are trying to do that based on your experience?
I would say a relentless pursuit. I mean, I think you have to have an unwavering vision of what you want to accomplish, and that vision is going to always evolve and change over time. So you have to be okay dealing with the uncertainty of not really knowing what the future is going to behold, but also working on continuing to progress your company. And I think when you think about building something out of nothing, that's a big thought to literally create something out of nothing. And when you think about people that design products that haven't been in the marketplace before, or maybe they've improved something before, I think you just have to find your specific place in the market and then continue to evolve. So even for me, like I run a accounting firm. I mean, there's CPAs all over the place, but what am I doing differently to continue to evolve the industry and help our business owner clients and then also our professional athlete clients? So innovation, relentless pursuit.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, at the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.